Hello? Hello?
Hey Jan.
Hey, Steve, how you doing?
Good. How are you? So what's new? What's going on?
Well, I made a couple of changes with my stockpile. I'm like really literally being true to my word.
Hmm.
So I know that you were curious to know because about building it, rebuilding it. It was kind of humbling for me to have to mention, not long ago that it was going, depleted. But so anyway, so I decided to come up with a plan. And I
Hmm.
decided that I like to practice what I preach. So basically, I said I'm setting aside $5 to $10 just for the stockpile. So what I did was I got a couple of those. I don't know how to say the name properly. So if you could correct me on it, is it Maruchan or Maruchian? Those
Maruchan.
Maruchan. I think it's called Maruchan lunches.
Oh, the
So
instant lunch. The instant
yeah,
lunch. Okay.
yeah. I said, since it's instant, I'm assuming you just add water to that and that's it. Am I correct with that?
All you do is you take it out of the packaging, you take the plastic wrap off, you open the top about halfway back, you fill it with water till there's a fill line, you got to look for it.
Okay.
And you bring the lid back down, stick it in you heat it up for about 3 minutes, and you let it sit for about two, so the heat will soften the noodles. You take the lid off, and that's it. It's pretty self-explanatory, really.
So it's kind of like cup of noodles, if you will. Okay,
Same
that's
thing.
good.
Same
Because
thing.
I got a good price on them. I think they were might have been like 68 or 58 cents each. So I said, you know what? This is good for the stockpile because it's like one of those all you need is water type deals. So I bought a few of those. Then
Hmm.
I noticed that peanut butter was on sale. Really? Peanut butter could go from the sublime to the ridiculous.
It
So,
can.
yeah, so I came across some Happy Belly peanut butter, it's just your standard, basic, non-fancy, no chopped nuts. It'll do the trick, and I'm totally fine with that. It was only $1.29 for a
For
16
pe
ounce jar. I
for
know,
peanut butter?
I
Wow,
know. I
that's
almost,
good.
I almost fell down, right? So naturally, I bought a couple of those. I also decided to get more of those little cans of the Happy Belly canned tomato sauce because I don't know what it is about like Fridays. I have this tendency to want to make my own homemade pizza. So like
Mm.
Friday night is pizza night type thing. So for one basic personal size pizza, I discovered that an 8 ounce can of tomato sauce. Now I also had purchased pizza sauce separately, but I like to keep those little cans for when you run out. But 8 ounces does the trick. If that's the case, if like the jarred sauce runs out, whatever, what I like to do is like literally doctor it up. And a good trick I like to work with is like melting a little butter into it with a little garlic powder, salt and pepper type thing, and jazz it up a little bit. And it comes out really, really good. And the 8 ounces is totally enough for like seriously like a personal pan pizza. Some,
It
yeah,
does.
yeah. Do you do stuff like that? I'm just wondering.
Well, it's funny that you mentioned the little 8 ounce cans. A lot of the time, yeah, you can catch those on sale. I usually, I get about four, six of those, and I also like to buy like a packet of like to make chili. So I'll get like like the McCormick, mild chili mix or the original. And then, I'll get some beans, kidney or pinto or whatever kind you want to use in a chili.
Right.
And what I like to do is I like to put the chili packet with the meat, and I like to take two of those 8 ounce cans of tomato sauce and put in with it.
Oh,
And then
wonderful.
yeah, and then I add my beans. Now, I do a little secret. This is just a carryover. Whenever I do a chili or whenever I use anything tomato based, I always add a little bit of sugar to it to kill the acidity. Always.
Yes, it does the trick. It really does.
Right. So, and yeah, because if you don't kill the acidity, it could give you a sick stomach for people that are not careful.
Right.
So, I'll usually put like a teaspoon and a half, just just to knock it out. And sometimes, in addition to the chili powder mix, the McCormick, sometimes I'll add a little bit of chili powder from the bottle itself, to bump it up a little more. So, yeah, those tomato sauces have a bunch of different uses. I mean,
You
you can.
reminded me of something when you mentioned the beans. Now, I have in my stockpile, I have a can of pinto beans that's been like sitting around. I have, kidney beans have been sitting around. So one day, it reminded me of something. I actually did a video about this a while back, but I'm just sharing this technically here with you. One day, I
Hmm.
was really craving hummus, but I didn't want to pay the price of hummus because in certain parts of the city, prices of hummus can be really from the sublime again to ridiculous. I said,
Ridiculous. Yeah.
yeah. So you know what I did? I mashed up my own. I seasoned it myself, and I used a little bit of the Italian dressing in that, and I made my own bean dip out of it. I cannot tell you how good that was. It
You
was
can.
so
Yeah.
good. Oh my word. I took like pita bread and I cut it up into wedges. I don't know if you've ever done this, Steve. You could actually take regular pita bread, cut it up into any, shape you want, whatever. Toss that in the air fryer. What I did, I took a little spray, like olive oil spray, baking spray type thing, only
Hmm.
so that the spices would adhere to it. I had like garlic powder and seasoning, whatever. And I put that on top. Put whatever seasoning you want. I tossed it in the air fry for like 6 minutes at like 350, and I dipped those pieces with my bean dip, homemade bean dip. It was amazing.
Oh, wow.
It was
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah, yeah, you can create your own bean dip from scratch, say, from the can. And there's really no right or wrong as to what type of bean you can use. It all depends on, what you have available. But it's funny that you mentioned the hummus. Hummus, what that is, people probably do or don't realize is that's chickpeas mashed up. That's what you're eating,
Yum, yum,
you know. Or
yum, yum, yum.
another way of putting it, some people know it as a garbanzo.
Right.
So that's what hummus is. If you know what you're doing, honestly, between you and me, I think it's cheaper to make your own hummus than it is to go out and buy it.
It really is, especially if you pick up a couple of cans and it's November. This is like a great time to look for canned items. In certain stores in January, they have what they call a can sale, which the prices are absolutely incredible, but those stores are not necessarily, all over the place. But keep an eye out. I keep an eye out for canned goods starting from right now. This is the time, in my honest, I don't know, experience with that. But yes, you're so right about the hummus and the garbanzo beans. It doesn't cost much. It's so filling, so delicious, and it just
No.
felt like I was having a personal party, with this little dip in my own homemade, pita chips. I love pita bread. How about you?
Yeah, pita bread, one thing that's good about it is people, I mean, I will eat bread. I'm not a hardcore bread eater. I mean, I will eat it, but you know, people that want bread, but oh, they're afraid of, because people, like to watch their carb count. I would say go the pita bread route over a loaf bread because, you know, to me it's lower in carbs
And you
and
get
it,
a lot
and
of
it, and
chew out of it. You get like a satisfaction, like you're chewing on something.
you do, and not only that, a lot of the time I think pita bread tastes better than loaf bread.
It does. It doesn't have that heavy. I'm not a fan of like a certain heavy tasting breads. I'm with you on that. Yeah.
Hmm.
So good and very affordable too.
And people don't realize with the pitas, they're round and you can cut them in half, and you can make sandwiches out of it. You can put cold cuts and lettuce and mayo
Yes.
and whatever condiments you want. You can put hamburgers in it. You can do breakfast sandwiches with it with eggs and sausage,
You inspired
bacon.
me with that with the breakfast one, Steve. Every time I have a breakfast pita bread pocket thing, I always think of you because of the times that you've had it. It's really quite good like that.
Well, I'll tell you how I learned about the pita, breakfast pitas. There's a couple of places here. Um, I'm not going to mention the name, but I could. Um, there's a couple places that serves breakfast in a pita. You can do sausage, egg, cheese, bacon, egg, cheese, country ham, egg, and cheese, however you want to do it. I think on one you could even get fried fish in it if you wanted it, with egg and there's one that they have that's got like chopped up steak meat with eggs and cheese and
Oh,
onion,
yum.
and that's a good one. But that's how I learned or come to learn about the pita breakfast thing. And then there were a couple of times, 3, 4 times, I can't remember, I just did it on my own. You could
Yeah.
you can make it yourself. But they're really good. And every time I have, because I usually, if whenever I do, every few and far between, go and get one at this couple of places I know, I usually get the sausage, egg, and cheese, and it's very filling for me. It's so filling, sometimes I can skip lunch.
Yeah, I don't know what it is about that. It's very filling. And believe it or not, from my experience, there seems to be a whole ton less of carbs in it. I'm not
It
saying it's
is.
carb free, but there's a lot less carbs in it. And get a load of what else I've done with pita bread. I literally split it open completely. And I actually make the thinnest crust pizza you could ever make on planet Earth. Put a little bit of tomato sauce on it, sprinkle some of your favorite toppings. I happen to use shredded mozzarella. You could put anything you want. Let it crisp up in your oven. Don't go overboard. 350 for about, I would say, really about 7 to 9 minutes max. 7 minutes is the sweet spot for me with my oven at 350.
Yeah, usually 350 is like the magic number on a majority of stoves. That seems to be a good number. But at times, again, stoves can vary. Sometimes it could be a little more, sometimes it could be a little less because it can change, not because not all stoves are the same. So that's a good way. Let's see. I'll tell you a couple of other things I've done with pita bread. Not recently. This is a while back. Oh, I've done peanut butter and jelly sandwiches with it.
Yum.
That's one. The other one, you can take peanut butter and Nutella.
Oh.
And
Oh, my word.
because remember, I get creative.
Yes.
I really do. I can try a recipe the first time as it is verbatim word for word, but I'll eat it. What can I do to change this?
Yeah.
What more can I put in it? What can I take out? What can I add? Et cetera, et cetera. So that's what I do.
That gives it a definitely like a fun feel to it too. Sort of like a little bit borderline of dessert. Sounds really good.
Hmm. Oh, it is.
Steve, so I want to thank you for calling, but I have to go because I have to step out and take
Okay.
care of some errands. But thanks for
All right.
calling. All right. We'll talk again soon. Take care, Steve.
All right. You too. All right.
Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.